In the personal story segment tonight, the Factor has been investigating allegations that some Planned Parenthood abortion clinics may not be reporting statutory rapes, which they're compelled to do under state law. Most recently, pro-life filmmakers went undercover at an Alabama clinic posing as a 14-year-old girl impregnated by her 31-year-old boyfriend.
In order to have one, you're going to have a parent's consent.
What does that mean?
That means she can't have an abortion until her parent signs the paper.
Can we talk about that more? Because I don't want my parents to know. What if my boyfriend gives his consent?
How old's your boyfriend?
He's 31. Is it a problem about my boyfriend?
As long as you consented to having sex with him, there's nothing you can truly do about that.
Joining us now from California is Lila Rose, the filmmaker who made that video, and from Montgomery, Alabama, the state's Attorney General, Troy King. Lila, I want to start with you because you've conducted these sting operations at a number of Planned Parenthood clinics now across the United States, and you've discovered fascinating things about how they operate. But when you went into that clinic and you said you were 14 years old, what was her instant reaction? What was her body language, the facial expression? Because she sort of seemed to say, oh, okay, we have to figure out a way, in other words, to work around that.
The reaction of the Planned Parenthood staff member in Alabama to hearing that I was 14 and that my supposed boyfriend was 31, over twice my age, was that, oh, it'll stay within these walls, you know, we won't say a word to anybody. And then her next concern was figuring out a way to get my parents not to know about the abortion by getting someone, anyone, with the same last name to sign off on the paperwork, even though a legal guardian or a parent is required by Alabama law.
Now, Planned Parenthood of America, over the last year, I think received about $350 million in government grants and contracts. And for the year ending 2008, total revenue they took in, $966.7 million. And most of that, of course, from the abortion procedure. I want to go to General King on this. Attorney General King, you're investigating this particular clinic in Alabama. This is in Birmingham. People think of Birmingham as a conservative place. This would have been statutory rape. Didn't matter if she consented, because according to state law, there's no such thing as consent when you're 14, right?
That's right. You're incapable of consent. Laura, this is, as a parent of 3, this is outrageous, but as Attorney General, this is the kind of conduct that deserves to be investigated. And I've invited the State Health Department that regulates abortion clinics to join me in my investigation and to get to the bottom of what is being done to girls who can't consent by state law for a reason.
And also, let's go back to what Lila said. This particular girl wasn't going to get her parental consent. I mean, this was Lila posing in the sting, but the worker at the clinic was all too happy to say, well, do you have an older sister with the same last name? And Lila, you probably were surprised about that response.
Well, I mean, the whole thing is stunning, but Laura, I've been in 9 of these clinics that we've released now, 7 through Live Action's Mona Lisa Project, the investigative undercover tour, and I've seen it again and again and again. Age differences, 13 and 31. Planned Parenthood says, we don't care, it doesn't matter, we're not going to report it. And this is a growing pattern across the country. At the end of the day, I mean, I can't be surprised as part of a generation that wants to build a culture of life in America. Are we so surprised to find this sexual abuse cover-up at these clinics when there's this hostile attitude towards the life of the unborn child that is being taken in these clinics regularly across the country, and that extends to not protecting the dignity of these young girls going in and looking at them holistically and considering what they need and what their rights are to be protected.
Attorney General King, what we've seen on that tape, what we've seen on these other investigations, is not just obviously a disrespect for life. I mean, they make millions off the abortion procedure, but it's a willful attempt to disregard the law that's on the books and a purposeful effort to thwart the letter of the law on consent And on the statutory rape issue, they have a duty, a legal duty to report statutory rape, a legal duty. They're not, obviously, they're not following that legal duty. What can happen to Planned Parenthood in Birmingham? If this investigation goes forward and you corroborate what Lila found, what could happen to them?
Well, at the very least, their license can be in jeopardy, Laura. Look, this is extremely troubling. It's troubling that a girl would go into an abortion clinic, that she would tell them she's 14 years old, and she would be coached by an abortion clinic worker in how to break the law, to go and get an older sibling that shares her name. They even told her that if her boyfriend had the same last name, perhaps he could sign. And then most troubling of all, most disturbing of all, is that they then told her, well, I don't know how to tell you what to do, so why don't you call back tomorrow and talk to the clinic manager, and she sometimes bends the rules. Maybe she can tell you how to break the law. That is extremely troubling.
We are going to stay on this investigation. We appreciate both of you joining us, and we'll stay on it and we'll have updates. And